Have you ever felt like life is repeating the same pain, no matter how hard you try to change your luck? You change your job, but the stress follows you. You change your friends, but the same conflicts return. You change your city, your habits, even your name, yet the heart still feels heavy. And in a quiet moment, a question rises like a whisper in the dark. What if my fate is not outside me? What if the one thing I never truly changed is the mind that carries me everywhere? The Buddha's teaching is gentle, but it is also fearless. It does not promise quick miracles. It does not sell easy shortcuts. It points to a deep truth. If you change the mind, life changes. If you train the heart, the path becomes lighter. If you purify intention, the future begins to open. Welcome to Buddha Peaceful Mind. May this Dharma talk bring you clarity, calm, and the courage to begin again. If you feel these teachings support you, you are welcome to subscribe so you can return whenever your heart needs quiet guidance. Many people think spiritual practice is about adding something, more knowledge, more rituals, more words, more rules. But the Buddha taught something surprising. True practice is often about removing what poisons the heart, removing what keeps the mind trapped, removing what makes us suffer again and again. Anger, jealousy, pride, restlessness, endless comparison, the habit of blaming, the habit of chasing approval, the habit of holding tightly to what cannot be held. This is why inner training is the hardest training, because you can leave a room, but you cannot leave your own mind. You can avoid strangers, but you cannot avoid your own reactions. You can change the world around you, but the world inside you follows like a shadow. People often say, training the body is easy, training the mouth is hard, and training the mind is hardest. You can fast for a day, but you struggle to hold back one sharp sentence. You can be patient with strangers, but become harsh with the people you love. You can speak beautiful Dharma, but when you are hurt, compassion disappears. This is not to shame us. This is to awaken us, because the moment you see the pattern, you can begin to change it. The Buddha spoke often about karma. Karma is not a curse. Karma is not fatalism. Karma is the natural law of cause and effect, shaped by intention. If you plant mango seeds, you do not harvest rice. If you plant thorns, you do not pick roses. If you plant anger, you do not harvest peace. But here is the hopeful part. If you plant wholesome seeds today, the future changes. Not by magic, but by causes and conditions. Many people ask, why is my life so messy? Why does my fate feel blocked? Why is my path so heavy? The Buddha would ask a different question. What causes are being planted each day in your mind, speech, and actions? Because what you repeatedly plant becomes your life. There is a simple chain the Buddha helped us see. A peaceful mind creates gentle speech. Gentle speech creates kind actions. Kind actions create good relationships. Good relationships create supportive conditions. Supportive conditions feel like luck, not because the universe favors you, but because you are living in harmony with cause and effect. So when we say, change your mind and your fate will change, we do not mean you can control everything. Life has many conditions: health, aging, loss, the choices of other people, the unpredictability of the world. But your mind is still the center of your experience. Your mind is the place where suffering begins, and also the place where suffering can end. The Buddha gave a teaching that many people remember in simple words. If you want to know your past causes, look at your present results. If you want to know your future results, look at your present causes. This is not meant to blame you. It is meant to empower you. Because if your future is shaped by what you do now, then you are not helpless. Now, let us talk about the hardest part. Training the mind is not learning more. It is letting go. Letting go of pride that wants to be right. Letting go of anger that wants to punish. Letting go of craving that always wants more. Letting go of fear that always expects loss. Letting go of the tight grip on our own opinions. And this letting go is painful sometimes, because it feels like losing an old identity. It feels like losing the right to be angry. It feels like losing control. But the Buddha showed that what we call control is often just anxiety holding a leash. And what we call righteousness is often just the ego protecting its image. So the path begins with honesty. Not harsh honesty, kind honesty. The kind of honesty that says, this is what is in my mind. This is what I am carrying. This is what I have been feeding. Because you cannot change what you refuse to see. Here is a small story. A man went to a teacher and said, "My life is unlucky. Everything I touch becomes trouble. Please tell me a ritual to change my fate." The teacher asked him, "How do you speak to your family?" The man said, "I shout when I am stressed." The teacher asked, "How do you speak to yourself?" The man said, "I insult myself when I fail." The teacher asked, "How do you treat people when you feel afraid?" The man said, "I become controlling because I cannot trust." The teacher smiled gently and said, "You are not unlucky. You are planting seeds of suffering with your own hands every day. If you want a different harvest, plant different seeds." That man did not need a ritual. He needed awareness. He needed training. He needed courage. This is exactly what the Buddha offered. Awareness that sees clearly. Training that builds new habits. Courage that chooses the wholesome even when the ego protests. Now, some people hear this and feel discouraged. They say, "But my mind is too wild. My anger is too strong. My habits are too old." The Buddha would not argue with you. He would simply guide you to begin with what is possible. Begin with one breath. Begin with one pause. Begin with one small change. Because karma is built through repetition, and liberation is also built through repetition. A single good moment may not transform your whole life, but a single good moment repeated becomes a new life. Let us make this practical. When anger arises, most people follow it. They speak, they act, they damage relationships. Then they regret, then they repeat. Mind training creates a gap. Anger arises. You notice it. You breathe. You do not obey it. You choose a wiser response. This gap is freedom. The Buddha compared the mind to a garden. Am I watering resentment by replaying old wounds? Am I watering jealousy by comparing myself to others? Am I watering fear by imagining disasters that have not happened? Am I watering pride by needing to win every conversation? Or am I watering patience? Am I watering gratitude? Am I watering kindness? Am I watering the courage to be humble? Now let us bring in another story, because stories soften the heart. A woman came to the Buddha with great sadness. She said, "My life is full of suffering. I want happiness, but I keep meeting problems." The Buddha asked her gently, "When you are suffering, how do you respond?" She said, "I complain, I blame, I hold anger, I cannot sleep. My words become sharp." The Buddha said, "When you hold a burning torch to throw at someone else, who is burned first?" She understood. Herself. The Buddha's point was not to shame her. It was to show her that her suffering was being multiplied by her own reactions. This is the secret many people miss. Life brings pain, but the mind adds extra pain. There is pain, and then there is the second arrow. The Buddha described it like this. The first arrow is what happens. The second arrow is how we react with anger, fear, and obsession. We may not avoid the first arrow, but with practice, we can stop shooting the second. This is what it means to change your fate. Not changing the weather of life, changing how the heart meets the weather. Now, some people misunderstand this teaching and think, if I train my mind, everything will become perfect. I will be rich. I will never suffer. The Buddha never promised that. He promised something deeper. If you train your mind, your suffering will decrease. Your compassion will increase. Your clarity will increase. Even in difficult conditions, your heart can be steady. This is true wealth. Now, let us talk about speech. Because speech is the bridge between mind and life. Many people lose blessings through the mouth. They speak harshly. They speak carelessly. They speak with blame. They speak with sarcasm. They speak to win. But the Buddha taught right speech, truthful, kind, helpful, and spoken at the right time. When your speech becomes gentle, your relationships soften. When relationships soften, opportunities open. When opportunities open, life feels lighter. Again, not magic, cause and effect. There is a small story. Two men worked in the same place. One complained every day. The other spoke with respect. Both faced the same difficulties. Over time, people avoided the one who complained. They did not trust him. They felt tired around him. But they were drawn to the one who spoke gently. They asked him for help. They shared opportunities. They supported him. One man called it luck, but it was not luck. It was the fruit of speech and character. Now, training the mind also means training the heart. The heart is trained through generosity, through forgiving, through letting go of grudges, through serving others quietly, through doing good without needing applause. Some people say, "But no one sees my effort." The Buddha would say, "Your mind sees it, your conscience sees it, and the effects will appear in time." In the Dharma, there is no need to announce your goodness. Goodness is not a performance. Goodness is a practice. This is why the quiet work is the deepest work. Now, let us be very honest. Changing the mind hurts sometimes. It hurts to admit, I was wrong. It hurts to see, I hurt others. It hurts to recognize, I was jealous. It hurts to face, I was selfish. It hurts to realize, my pride was costing me peace. But this pain is not punishment. It is the pain of waking up. It is like cleaning a wound. At first, it stings. Then it heals. Many people want to change fate without feeling this sting. They want comfort without transformation. They want blessings without letting go. But the Buddha taught that liberation requires courage. Courage to look, courage to stop, courage to begin again. So how do we train the mind in a way that is simple and real? Start with mindfulness. Each day, sit for a few minutes. Feel the breath. Notice thoughts as clouds passing. Do not chase them. Do not fight them. Just see. When you can see thoughts, you are no longer fully owned by them. Then practice one small act of letting go. Let go of one argument you do not need. Let go of one sharp sentence. Let go of one unnecessary comparison. Let go of one grudge, just a little. This is how the mind becomes lighter. Then practice loving kindness. You can say quietly, "May I be well. May I be calm. May I be free from unnecessary suffering." Then extend it. "May my family be well. May my friends be well. May even those who hurt me be guided by wisdom." This is not weakness. This is strength, because hatred keeps you tied to the past. Loving kindness sets you free. Now let us talk about fate in another way. People sometimes say, "My life is unlucky." But often what they mean is, "My mind is restless." A restless mind makes quick decisions. A restless mind speaks without thinking. A restless mind creates conflict. A restless mind wastes energy. A restless mind misses opportunities. Then life becomes complicated, and they call it fate. But when the mind is calm, you see more clearly. You choose more wisely. You speak more gently. You create fewer enemies. You build stronger relationships. You take better care of your health. Then life becomes simpler, and they call it luck. Again, cause and effect. This is why the Buddha said, "The mind is the forerunner of all things. What you think, you become. What you repeatedly hold, you build." So the question is not, how do I change fate quickly? The question is, what kind of mind am I building day by day? Now, if this talk is helpful, you can support Buddha Peaceful Mind by liking this video. It helps these gentle teachings reach someone who may feel lost and tired right now. Let us add one more story, because it brings the teaching close. A man once said, "I want my life to change, but I do not want to change." He said it like a joke, but it was true. The teacher answered, "Then you are like someone who wants a clean mirror, but refuses to wipe the dust. When you wipe the dust, the mirror shines. When you wipe the mind, the path shines." The man asked, "How long does it take?" The teacher said, "How long did you feed the dust?" The lesson is simple. Do not be impatient with your own training. You practiced old habits for years, so practice new habits with patience. The Buddha praised patience, not as passive waiting, but as steady practice. Now, let us return to the most important point. Training the mind does not guarantee you will avoid all hardship, but it guarantees you will meet hardship differently. A calm mind does not panic easily. A kind mind does not create extra enemies. A wise mind does not waste life chasing illusions. And over time, These qualities create better conditions, better relationships, better opportunities, better health, better peace. This is what people call a changed fate. So if you want to begin today, begin with one thing. Before you speak, pause. Before you react, breathe. Before you judge, look deeper. Before you blame, ask what you can learn. Before you hold tightly, see what you can release. And when you fail, begin again. That is the practice. If you would like more Dharma talks like this on inner peace and daily transformation, you are welcome to subscribe to Buddha Peaceful Mind. And if you know someone who is searching for a gentler way to live, you can share this talk with them quietly, like offering a lantern in a dark place. May your mind become a friend, not an enemy. May your speech become a blessing, not a weapon. May your actions become seeds of peace. May your life become lighter, step by step. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be at peace.